What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and its review score. Sorry, I'm late, but I'm here nonetheless, and I want to go over this because while we talked about, leading into this thing, I don't think the first game deserves the lower score that it actually got, like on Metacritic. I think it was at like a 69 or something ridiculous. I think that game has obviously aged very well as time has gone on. It was also, muddied with performance issues and whatnot back in the day, but to see the jump, which I think a lot of people are kind of talking about, right? Like, oh my dear God, the difference between first game to the second game. It is technically true, although I don't think the first game deserved the low score. The second game actually got an insanely high score. So I believe right now, I guess it depends on which one you're looking at. If you look at Metacritic for PC, it's an 87. If you look at the PS5, it's an 88. But there's 7 more critics on PC. And I want to say, for the most part, it's just like absolutely glowing. I mean, you can scroll down and there's about 10, 11, 10 out of 10s. There's loads of 95s and just 90s. Now there are, which is actually kind of interesting, I would say, there are some pretty low scores that actually I think would stop it from being higher. You got 150, 160, 270s, and then from there it's a bunch of 80s and 85s. I think when I looked this morning, it was actually closer to like a 90 or so. So I think those lower scores, I mean they bring it down because there's a lot of 10 out of 10s and 95s. Now, what I will say and what I like to do in these videos, right, is kind of go over like broad things that people are talking about. And well, one thing that I see, I think more than anything else in any of these reviews, is the length. You see pretty much every short synopsis, right, of these reviews say this game is a 100-hour spectacle, right? Like it keeps its quality over X hours. So I'll tell you this: I saw some people saying it took them 65 hours. I saw other people, especially I would say content creators, maybe ones that were able to really go into the nitty-gritty of things. I saw people saying that it took them like 140 plus hours and they still weren't done with it. So if you were wondering the length of time to beat this thing, if you want to do everything, I got to imagine it's 120, 130, 140 hours. The lowest I did, I saw 150 or so from a couple of these sites, but and then the low end seems to be like 60, 70 hours. And I want to say the next thing, but it's actually like a main point here, it's kind of what you want it to be. And that's what I also am seeing in all of these reviews is, for better or worse, like there is some performance issues here and there. I saw one talking about like the save states. There's a couple quests, specifically if the quests are longer, that the saves are a little troublesome. Like they'll put you back basically if something happens. So I saw, but going back to that earlier point, it's that like freedom of choice, right? Being able to basically do whatever you want. There's depth in kind of everything, right? All the systems, side quests have like a meaning to them, right? Main quests have the same thing. I saw one that talked about, some main quests will actually be these like large scale things, and then there will also be main quests where it's kind of a little bit more quiet or a little bit more, you're going to be like building characters and building those kind of plot lines. So, I mean, honestly, I don't even want to say too much because I got the thing like ready to freaking go, in the background. I'm ready. I think that, scores are scores, and we've talked about this before, right? Like make your own determination. I was already going to get this game like months ago before an 87, popped up on the computer, but it very much seems like this is that jump, again, like I talked about from the first game to the second game. Basically, what worked so well in the first game, I saw a lot of reviews talk about that too. Think about everything that was so strong, the main features of the first game, and they doubled down on those things. So, the things that were not the main focus, right, they might be left behind a little bit. This game is probably the game that you think it is, I guess I would say, right? Like if you know from watching the gameplay, from what people have talked about leading in, a very deep RPG, right? One that's going to kind of punish you if you're not ready for it. Like you got to be freaking ready for this game. That's the kind of game that it is. And the scores kind of reflect that. The opinions kind of reflect that. Are there like actual issues with it? Sure. But what it did well in the first game is what it does even better and in more depth, right, in this one. So I'm very excited to play it. I'll be giving you guys some videos. I'll have my own, impressions and review as the days go. So let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and hope to see you all on the next one.